My lords, I've given a data also. In fact, I took from Kara data. Your lordships will find that at page 1 of my yesterday's compilation. Roughly, my lords, I've given gender-wise. How many boys, how many girls for the last 8-9 years? How many have been given up in adoption? How many parents have registered? So roughly, to give your lordships an idea, there are about 30,000 parents who are registered prospective adoptive parents waiting for adoption. And the children, my lords, here who are in the pool are less than 1,500. There is a mechanism for, my lords, you have to reserve every prospect, and then, my lords, there is a mechanism for intra-country is the last resort.
Only 1,500 children are available for adoption across India?
My lords, yes, it's not in my compilation, but there is, my lords, some lines from Justice Bhagwati, my lords, in the judgment of Lakshmikant Pandey versus Union of India. This is 1984 2 SCC 244. Just want to read 2 lines to your lordships, my lords. This is the judgment where your lordships were dealing with the problems of inter-country adoption, and the entire infrastructure, the entire regime of Juvenile Justice Act and Kara came by virtue of your lordships nudge and push in this judgment, my lords. Para 6, just 2 lines I want to read to your lordships, my lords.
Then aren't you serving the petitioner's cause by pointing to this vacuum and what this court did?
My lords, my respectful submission is your lordship may go the slowest when it comes to rights of child.
Yes.
My lords, para 6, just 2 lines, my lords. My lords, I'm sorry, my lords, I'll just read. They're just 2 lines, my lord. Justice Kaul may kindly bear with me, my lords. This is 1984 2 SCC 244, para 6, just 2 lines, my lords. It is obvious that in a civilized society, the importance of child welfare cannot be overemphasized because the welfare of entire community, its growth and development depends on the health and well-being of children. Children are a supremely important national asset, and the future well-being of the nation depends on how its children grow and develop. The great poet Milton put it admirably, and he said, "Child shows the man as morning shows the day." And study team of social welfare said much to the same effect when it said physical and mental health of a nation is determined largely by the manner in which it is shaped in the early stages. Just that much.
This is well taken, but you must show children in the context of same sex.
My lords, my respectful submission is from the perspective to show to your lordships that this architecture is carefully crafted, my lords. My lords, here, heterosexual couples also don't have rights that equate to them. My lords, there are categories within categories created. Man and woman don't have same rights. A single man and a single woman do not have same rights. So from that perspective, my lords, there is no, in fact, the only recognition is to the child's right. In fact, when I'll show to your lordships, my lords, your lordship saw that section 3, my lords, with me. My lords, then please come to straight away chapter 8 of the Juvenile Justice Act, my lords.
Since we've given you 30 minutes, we are already now 45.
I'm sorry.
So no, not at all. You made a very valid point, and you never, yeah, everything that you say is always very precise and full of substance. So just formulate your submission so that, forget the submissions. We'll read the submissions, of course. But if you can just formulate it, so that then we can take it down and then we can focus on it.
Lordships may go through only my note. Just part B is the portion that I've dealt with. I'm just going to quickly tell your lordship.
If you can just sort of highlight what are the key areas, because I think now we've seen the broad architecture, etc., of the law that you have showed us. You can formulate 3 or 4 key submissions, and then we can.
My lords may note, my lords, in the Kara adoption guidelines, the latest ones are of 23rd of September 22. That's at page 228, my lords, in this compilation A. And
just 1 second. Let's just take it 1 second.
September 22. These are the latest guidelines, but I put the old guidelines of 2017 also, and there are very little changes. The architecture continues in the same manner.
Bhati, what page?
My lords, this is page 228 in compilation A.
Compilation A.
And my lords, your lordships will pay close attention, my lords, is my respectful submission to the general principles governing adoption, Regulation 3, Regulation 4, child eligible for adoption. My lords, this OM that came was from steering committee, my lords, discussions. One point that was put was that child is trans. How is he dealt with in Kara guidelines? Kara guidelines make no distinction. What is the gender of the child? What is the disability of the child, if any? What is the what age, well, so protection is given only on 2 occasions. What is the age on which it is given? So Lordship will have a quick look at Regulation 5. That gives, my lords, Regulation 4 gives child who's fit for adoption, and Regulation 5 gives eligibility for adoptive parents. That's at page 230, my lords. Your lordships will see that man-woman relationships are immaterial. So a man cannot adopt a young girl child. And it is in this manner, my lords, that it has been crafted. Then 2 years of stable married relationship is extremely critical. My lords, that your lordships will find in Regulation 5. My lords, I also want to draw your lordship's attention to, my lords, seniority in Regulation 44 and root search in Regulation 47. My lords, seniority, your lordships will find.
Sorry, Regulation 44 and
Regulation 44 deals with seniority of prospective adoptive parents.
and
My lords, Regulation 47 deals with root search. So every child is entitled to a root search, adopted child also. When either if he becomes a major, he's entitled to do that on his own or through his adoptive parents. And my lords, in the entire architecture, only at one place the biological parents' rights is protected. That is Regulation 47, Subregulation 6, where it says that the right of an adopted child shall not infringe the right of privacy of biological parents. This is the only place. So if biological parents wish their privacy to be protected, then this root search will not be given. My lords, I've given in yesterday's compilation a flow chart of how adoptions happen, my lords. My lords, I've given a data also. In fact, I took from CARA data. Your lordships will find that at page 1 of my yesterday's compilation. Roughly, my lords, I've given gender-wise. How many boys, how many girls for the last 8-9 years? How many have been given up in adoption? How many parents have registered? So roughly, to give your lordships an idea, there are about 30,000 parents who are registered prospective adoptive parents waiting for adoption. And the children, my lords, here who are in the pool are less than 1,500. There is a mechanism for, my lords, you have to reserve every prospect, and then, my lords, there is a mechanism for intra-country is the last resort.
Only 1,500 children are available for adoption across India?
My lords, yes. And not yet available. They are in the pool. My lords, because there is a time period that's available for children who are surrendered. The biological mothers or parents can reconsider if they want to. So there is a mechanism that is laid down, my lords. And then they are put in the, my lords, I've given a flow chart also of how adoption happens. It is only through Carings portal. No interference by humans. It is a portal that is automated, my lords, completely. The option goes to the next in seniority as a prospective adoptive parents. They are given 48 hours. They have to give their ethnic background, their choice, gender choice. My lords, the home study form that's a schedule in this, my lords, in these regulations is so exhaustive. You have to disclose not just your health conditions, income, your parents, your other family members, your children. My lords, it is so comprehensive that because it's important. Where the child is, because there is a process of matching that has to happen. After the parent decides that this child might be fit, there is a matching that has to happen, and it's only after that matching that the child is, my lords, given.
Just a question out of curiosity. We appreciate how much effort has gone into ensuring that the child is safeguarded in every which way when he or she goes to a home. What is the timeline ordinarily for an application once a party applies, a parent to be applies, and it matures by actually handing over the child to that adoptive parent?
I've given that in my
Do we have data?
But 3 years.
Do we have data of
What is the
neglected children who are in care institutions and who are not, of course, not adopted? And who, after turning 18, go? I mean, I won't use the word they are turned away, because care institutions don't cater to any adult.
Yes,
At the age of 18, if the child is not adopted or not cared for, in the sense that there is nobody to sponsor
please,
her or him, and he becomes an adult,
yes, my lords.
what is that future of that young adult who was a child till then? We have, I mean, there is no data. Actually, there is no data. And if you say 30,000 applicants are
Prospective parents.
of prospective parents, then 1,500 only are available.
Yes.
Isn't it a matter for concern that we look into every care institution? And there are thousands. We have at least in Delhi itself more than 50.
My lords,
And Tamil Nadu, we have, I think, 250 or so.
My lords, this is the data of, well, if your lordships will see page 2 of my yesterday's compilation of legally free children available as on 28th of April 2023. The CARA guidelines prescribe a procedure in which the child has to be declared free for adoption. My lords, it's a very razor thin edge walk, my lords. The child is being separated from biological parents, surrendered parents, or orphan, my lords. Orphan also, my lords, there is a provision for family adoption because, my lords, our culture, we are polycentric even in families. There will be nani, dadi, masi, mama, buas, whole lot, my lords, and they have right of, my lords, accelerated rights of adoption for family members. So there is the whole process. If the process is not followed for declaring the child legally free first, before giving up in adoption, it is going to. I just want to quickly, my lords, just tell your lordships what the rest of my note is. Lordships will just see that, my lords, I have also, my lords, I've adverted to in between the ART and the surrogacy mechanism is also like that. I just quickly want to mention this, my lords, the National Board of Surrogacy and ART, they were referred some, my lords, issues that why are you not allowing donor gametes in a surrogacy? My lords, the answer very clearly that has come from them is emotional bond of the child is very important. We can't even take 1% chance. So they say between the egg, the sperm, and the uterus, at least 2 of them have to be of biological parents. So while ART allows donors, surrogacy, where you're using the uterus or womb of another woman, altruistic, no commercial, because now the regulation is very clear. You can't use donors. Though Malad's Code 5 will deal with those challenges, but the reasoning that has come is that there has to be a strong emotional bond of the parents who are going for these assisted mechanisms. Malads, we have given, I think I've covered most of it, Malads. I would draw your lordship's attention to, Malads, one more aspect. The special provisions with regard to children, to women, my lords, is also something that your lordships will have to look at very carefully. We have made a compilation of, my lords, laws where women are protected by virtue of their married or domestic relationships.
Thank you, Ms. Bhati.
And my lords, one more thing, we made a chart of these 34 countries which have in some manner recognized their civil unions, though it's a phenomena only of this millennium, my lords. But they have recognized, we made a chart, my lords, we've given a source of that also. 27 of them have gender neutral rape laws. Social fabric is different, my lords. That chart your lordships will find, my lords, in our compilation C at page 1492. The source is also there, my lords. 27 countries gender neutral, 4 are gendered, 3 we could not confirm because they were in languages, my lords, though we tried AI of the internet to get the sources. My lords, I'm very grateful to your lordships. I had, my lords, just written an opening line. If your lordships will permit, I'll read it, my lords, at my closing. The entire endeavor of ours is to present to your lordships that the architecture of child-centric or child welfare laws is very carefully crafted with welfare of child being paramount. Any general declaration reading in spouse instead of husband and wife will make laws relating to adoption, assisted reproduction, surrogate reproduction completely unworkable. Even for the legislature, my lords, which has the tools of wide consultation, expert and specialist advice, my lords, options of calibrated and gradual solutions, opportunities of amendment, savings and repeal. That, to my mind, is a very, very important tool, my lords, the option of adoption, savings and repeal. But they will also find it very onerous responsibility to balance on one hand the competing rights and on the one hand protecting the parents' patria responsibility of the welfare of the child, because that is non-negotiable.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Bhati. Thank you.
I am very grateful, my lords. Your lordships have given me this opportunity.